Hello builders, my name is G. Today we're going to do a quick wrap up. It's 2026. Happy New Year if you're watching this recently. What I want to do is over the time, the various walkthroughs and tutorials that I've done at the end of the last year caused me to update this starting point every once in a while because I found certain things that I wanted to update, some security vulnerabilities with Nextjs that needed to be patched, and just overall developer experience that I thought I wanted to contribute to our tutorial starting point, walkthrough starting point. Both of them essentially the same changes. So I'll just use the walkthrough starting point here. The first one that you can see is a very verbose listing of the tech stack being used. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Definitely means that we're going to be using different tech stacks going forward in the future. So that's already something that is going to be coming with the G Block Party website that I've been building and going to be launching pretty soon. Will allow for me to post content that allows for someone to basically select what tech stack they want to use and then be able to see the corresponding walkthrough with some minor modifications that were made because of the tech stack being used. Now, it's a little bit of hard work to try to figure that out and go through and change some of the specific things that are needed, how to think about how I sequence the tutorial / walkthrough so that I can easily swap out different parts of it. So you might see some creative editing taking place at that point in the future. But hopefully it just allows for us to experience, understand how to use, and leverage different tool sets because not every tool is the best for any particular situation. It's what I've learned over the time. Having a go-to tech stack is great when I'm trying to create an MVP, but eventually, an example is DynamoDB versus Postgres versus Redis versus a bunch of different storage options. Well, I could use Postgres for everything, but some things are better than others, right? Some things are literally built for specific situations. In that database example that I just talked about, right? For a lot of cloud applications, DynamoDB is pretty much standard, right? Serverless, I think using Postgres is quite a compelling thing because of the ACID protection. And, there's a bunch of videos to talk about that. I won't go into that here. And, Redis, that's for essentially on-device, on-session memory management, right? When we work with rate limiting, when we work with different stuff like that, Redis, not just the individual DB implementation that they have, but also their whole suite of services, right? That's the whole stack that we can use. So if I were to just use Neon for everything, well, as I am hitting, there's certain situations where Neon's not the best solution. When we use AWS and Azure, obviously, you would want to just use the native database implementations within those cloud services. So thus, want to expand it a little bit. But today, we are focusing on Nextjs, TRPC, Betteroth, NeonDB, Drizzle, TantStack. I think that's everything. Shadcn and Tailwind, but I think that's just coupled with every single one. We're going to go through and look at all the different commits here. And I'm just going to start from the interesting one because these are obviously just administrivia stuff. But what I basically started with actual code changes here is changing from redirect to login. So one of the things that I noticed was if I had a page that was protected, let's say it was the home page, right, as in this example, and I say redirect to login. Well, we'll log in, and we're at the mercy of wherever login then bounces us after a successful login. So if we looked at, and I don't know okay, so this one doesn't have it, so I'll just open it up down here and go into source. I believe it would be auth and then our login buttons, right? Here are login buttons. Well, in the past, it was literally just sending us to home. So if we created any other page and after login, it would punt us to home. which is not great. It is used as a fallback, as we see here, but we try to use it as a search param. So what, going back over to here, right, what this function does, redirect to login, basically updates the search params so that we have the URL stub of where we want us to redirect to after login. So, hey, you tried to hit a protected page. It's protected with authorization. You're not logged in. You're not. So thus, we're going to redirect you to the login, and then you can boomerang back to your original location once you've successfully logged in. Now, obviously, if you can't log in, then you're just going to be either sent back to login forever if you try to go to that protected page without being signed in, or you're just stuck at login because login's not going to let you in unless you log in. So that is what the goal of these are. It's very well commented. So if you had a question about what it is, that's all in there. Just want to make this a quick update video. So don't want to get bogged down too much into things. And I think I bogged things down too much with the intro. So updated a lot of packages. So very important to keep things up to date, along with keeping things secure. And I can already see here that there's 16.0.1, so I might have to go back and update it again. So rest assured, there was, I believe, a security vulnerability for 16.0.1. I recognize that number. So we do have to make sure that we have that updating at some point. Maybe we have it. So I'll go back and make sure that that's all up to date. We have a config to the drizzle config.ts. Now I don't know why I forgot to add this one in here. I think I just included this, but we just need to set up the config to point at our environment variables. This file, drizzle.config.ts, was meant for when we run npx drizzle kit generate and then migrate/push, depending on the situation. Without this, we wouldn't have the database URL, thus causing a bunch of issues. So this successfully fixes that. So now you can generate and push to your heart's delight. Let's see here. Updated packages and fix some warnings. Let's see. Hopefully, next. Yeah, so now to the version past 16.0.1, which had a security vulnerability. So we are all patched there. Good. We also fixed some warnings. Did I miss some things there? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah. So because we updated the packages, there were some issues with Radix UI and the old ShadCN components as we had them. So all we did was just go back in, change a bunch of stuff, also fix any Tailwind CSS issues, right? So, just being able to change specific stuff. And, I think this was all modifications. Honestly, this might have been just deleting everything. Oh, no. It wouldn't have deleted everything because, maybe not. But I definitely was just cleaning up warnings and fixing different issues. So, might have deleted everything and then reinstalled it. So it just grabbed all the diffs. But however the case may be, all the ShadCN components were updated there. Back to here. I really wish there was a way to just move from commit to commit when we're inside of looking at a commit. So moving .environment over to dev dependencies as opposed to just being a regular dependency, because we only use .environment for dev time pushing the schema up to the database. We're not doing it at production, so it's not needed. Fixing some more stuff. Yeah, this was charts being a butt, having to change some stuff in the ShadCN implementation so that it would actually build. Fix login. Okay. Yes. So another thing was adding a suspense around the login button. So maybe sometimes you would notice we would click on login and then we'd have to wait for the successful handshake with the Google side for us to redirect over. So thus, if we didn't have the suspense and have this kind of loading state here, which just kind of blurs out, it's like a skeleton. I probably could have used skeleton, but I just used the div there. But basically, just creating a loading state to indicate that, hey, we're just waiting for something. So maybe I'll change this into a spinner or something in the future, just to make it more clear. But yeah, this is basically like, did anything happen? I hit logged in and nothing happened, right? This will hopefully help move things, or create some movement so that the user knows, okay, no, we're just waiting for something. So there's that. Also changed to the login buttons, right? This hard-coded /home that I was discussing earlier, instead to actually look at the params, right? And be able to switch over and actually to change the URL so that we have that search param in there. So all good stuff there. Then we are moving on, and I believe that, we have the verbose naming function. So that's basically it. Trying to keep this video short and compact. I believe it has been 11 minutes, so a little bit longer than I was expecting. Hopefully, I was kind of aiming for 10 minutes. So to wrap everything up in a bow, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for trying to learn, and I appreciate that. Please join my Discord. A link will be in the description. I do a lot of live coding nowadays, and would love to have a audience interact with me live, asking questions, working with me, all in the comfort of Discord. Also, if you have any issues, you can jump into the Discord and ping me there, and I'm more likely to see it than into the YouTube comments. And so, yep, thank you for watching. More walkthroughs are coming soon, I promise. Also with the variations in tech stack, because heard you loud and clear. Hano.js, a lot of people still use that. Need some Stripe alternatives, which is why I was holding off on doing anything related to payments, because I know that a lot of overseas developers have difficulties using Stripe, so have to kind of figure that out. So that's another thing that's outstanding, along with just the normal trying to teach people how to work with AI better, trying to teach people how to create different projects, and just want people to feel more comfortable with building. So thank you for watching. Until next time, have a good one.